Welcome back to the Real Estate Rat Pack Radio Show with Chris, Joe, and Rob. The crew is taking your calls, so dial in at 1-800-808-5548.
And we are back, having a good time in the studio. Hey, you know what? Having a great time.
We cracked up Nancy.
But you know, let me tell you.
About two fingers.
The two fingers, exactly. The two fingers, caught her off guard a little bit. So, we want to apologize for that. Nancy, next time it's 2, and then 1, and then 0, and then break. But, we have Kenya coming up. But before we introduce Kenya, I have another special guest I want to introduce. She is really a gorgeous little girl here in the studio right now. And let me tell you, I think she needs to say hello to everybody. What's your name, sweetie?
Kate.
Kate. And Kate is Kenya's daughter. Kate, how old are you?
6.
6, and what do you like doing?
Well, I like to swim and dance.
Swim and dance. And how do you like real estate?
Good.
Well, that about sums it up.
Hey, there are days we feel the same way, trust me.
Tell me where you go to school, and what's your teacher's name?
Yeager Elementary. Even my teacher's name's Miss Owen.
Now, do you have any friends that you want to shout out to?
Bella, one of my friends. Huh?
And Charlie.
Yeah, don't forget Charlie.
Yeah.
Oh.
How can we forget Charlie?
You can't forget Charlie.
I didn't forget Charlie.
Well, that is great. One of the things you can mark off in the future, you can say you've been on radio at a very young age.
You have been officially Rat Packed.
You've been officially Rat Packed. That is awesome. One of the things we tell everybody here at the Rat Pack, we are a family-friendly show. We love having individuals on board talk about real estate. We also love to have children on because it's a great experience to come in here in the studio, be able to see how we crack up, and be able to be with Mom and enjoy something on the weekend.
Outside of an open house.
Yes.
Outside of an open house, that is correct.
Well, I'm excited to have Kenya on. I've known Kenya for a number of years. She's also in HR leadership. She's a vice chair, and you're going to be a chairman in 2017?
2018, 2017.
Somewhere around there?
Near future.
Somewhere in the near future.
So it's hard to keep track of all
2018.
that. Talk about how did you get into real estate?
Sure. It's interesting. Nancy mentioned that, she had another career before real estate, and I did too. A good friend was getting her license and encouraged me to take the classes and get my license. And I thought that real estate would be my backup career. And haven't looked back in 13
It's so funny.
years.
People go, well, if I lose my job, I can always do real estate. Because we know it's easy, right?
Exactly.
Or I can always do mortgages. Either one of the two.
It's easy, right?
Yeah, those people actually weed themselves out pretty quickly. But
absolutely, I would agree.
Kenya does a great job. One of Kenya's other roles is that she is going to be the chairman for the Tree Pack next year, 2015. And we've got a lot of issues on the board that we are really fighting for. So
now, we all know Tree Pack, but define what Tree Pack is.
I did a while ago. If you were paying attention, it's a Texas Real Estate Political Action Committee.
I want to just do it again.
Okay.
I always pay attention, but I want to do it again.
No, you're not paying attention at all. Yeah, anytime we use acronyms,
I was having a good time.
I always like to identify acronyms.
What are we talking about?
Because we often in this business, we have so many of them, and we just throw them out there like people say, know what it is, but they don't.
Right, that's
correct.
What
it is. And I used to be very anti-PAC. I thought, well, that's buying politics. But what it does is it gives you a voice to make sure you can get the candidates that support private property right issues.
Yeah.
We want them in the legislature.
Well, does everybody know what ROB stands for?
I don't even know.
I think that's another show, guys.
That is another show. I think.
It's Rob.
Yeah. but Kenya, unlike a lot, we usually do everything off the cuff here, but Kenya came prepared. She's got notes in front of her and everything. So let's start with number 1 here, which is Proposition 1.
Well, I would like to start by saying if real estate is your profession, then politics is your business. And that's something that we share as real estate practitioners, because understanding that government does really have a big influence in what we do from day to day is a start for being involved in the PAC. And going back to the alphabet soup, the Texas Real Estate Political Action Committee is what we're talking about today. So if you're just tuning in, we do use a lot of, the alphabet soup here. So we'll try to break it down as often as we can. But Tree Pack, as Nancy mentioned, was founded in 1972. And it was basically founded to help real estate practitioners preserve our profession and to help protect the rights of private property owners, which kind of segues into what we're going to discuss today for the Voice for Texas.
Okay, that's great. So what are we supporting this year that are big issues?
Sure. Okay. Well, as far as issues, as you all know, we have an election coming up. Hopefully, everybody understands that there is an election in November.
4th, mark on
yes,
your calendar,
that's
first
right.
Thursday of November.
The midterm elections are ahead of us. So we do have some elected officials that we have an interest in supporting this year. But Proposition 1 is actually something we'd like everyone to look into. If you've driven in Houston lately, you know that traffic is increasing. And that's probably in part to the number of people that are moving to our area. If you've been driving down Highway 290, you interloopers will not be aware of this, but if you're outside of the loop and have driven in on 290 or stuck in traffic on 290,
the 290 parking lot?
there you go. You've probably seen some of the billboard advertisements for Proposition 1 and wondering what that's about. So basically, Proposition 1 is about starting the conversation to fix our long-term transportation needs. You know, the short-term fix is, yes, there are people moving to our city. Unfortunately, moving people to the city means that we have more impact on our infrastructure, which is also transportation.
Do we have an issue with transportation right now?
You know,
is traffic really that bad in Houston?
It depends on what time you leave, where you live, and if you're an inner looper or outer looper.
I mean, because I think
some
it's
of
like
us now.
northeast, southwest, I-10, 290, 45, 59. All the major freeways, right?
You know, we're adding 1,000 people today, a day.
A day.
That's right.
To Houston, Texas.
That is correct. And I think it's important to talk about that.
And they're usually in front of me on I-10 as I'm heading into
Well,
the
and, that was one of the things I was going to say is a perfect example about what this is also addressing is if you look at I-10, I-10 did a major expansion no less than 5 years ago. Mm-hmm. And we are now packed to the rim as far as driving
It was
again.
good for the first 30 days.
Right.
Yes.
And then
Yes.
we managed to fill it up.
And then Rob got on there, and then everyone
Yeah,
started
and everyone
following
else
him.
started following, yeah.
Yeah, I keep telling you,
My groupies.
press the gas when you're exiting. Don't stop.
And
Keep going, though.
And that actually that speaks to the situation we're in right now. There are 1,200 residents a day moving to Texas. They're not all moving to Houston, but quite a few of them are moving to the major metropolitan areas, and so we're all starting to feel that impact of these new residents. But this proposition will help us to move excess money from oil and gas tax revenues from the rainy day fund to the Texas Highway Fund. So it's not a tax increase. It's basically a solution to help keep us moving by distributing funds. A redistribution
and I don't know
of funds.
if people are aware of this, but the DOT, which is supposed to be our gas taxes, are supposed to be paying for roads. A lot of that money has been diverted over the years, and they're looking at that again. They'll be up in this legislative year, but they take money from that tax and add it to places where it wasn't originally intended.
Right.
And so what happens is our infrastructure, and if you get around the area where they're doing a lot of fracking in those areas, those roads are being ruined by the big trucks.
That's
and we have no money really to replace it. We're trying to get the oil companies to pitch in, and I don't know we've got a resolve on that yet. So
That's right.
address that.
They're not making enough money, that's why.
Yeah. Not making enough fracking money.
Cha-ching.
We need one of those. Wah, wah, wah.
Yeah, exactly.
So we're asking that everybody take into consideration voting for Proposition 1 so we can help keep Texans moving. But, in order to keep Texans moving and to vote for Proposition 1, we've got to make sure you're registered to vote. So we want to make sure that you're aware of National Voter Registration Day, which is Tuesday, September 23rd. If you are not registered to vote, it's a prime opportunity for you to get registered. In order to qualify for this election, you must be registered to vote by October 6th.
October 6th, okay.
Yes.
Get out there.
Yes.
Get registered.
We talk about getting out the vote all the time, and this is extremely important to do. So, I tell everybody, no matter what you do, whether you're in real estate or any other business you're in, it's important to exercise your ability to vote.
The importance of real estate touches everything.
It does.
Everything touches real estate. And so whatever happens impacts the real estate, it's going to impact prices and stuff
Right.
like that. If our taxes go up and it's a business, that business owner has to up his prices and pass it along. So
Right.
everything gets impacted by what happens in real estate, which is why it makes me feel really good when I give $1,000 a year to the PAC.
Right.
Some people give more, a lot give less, but I feel good about it because it's going to protect the rights of people.
Right, I would agree.
And,
Nancy and I, as is
you got
often...
a
you guys
separate show
been
going
speaking
on there.
Nancy and I are over here in the corner having a whole separate conversation, but we were talking
Feel free
about...
to chime in.
We were talking about, when she was talking about eminent domain and just you guys talking about being involved in leadership in our state and all that sort of thing, it made me look up at one of my favorite quotes. It was from Ben Franklin that said, "Only a virtuous people are capable of freedom. As nations become more corrupt and vicious, they have more need of masters. And our John Adams said that, in essence, our Constitution was made for a moral and religious people, and it has no benefit to any other. And so the basic idea is that our system of government allows for a tremendous amount of freedom, which means that the very nature of government is about corruption. It has a natural tendency towards corruption, and unless people of good character get involved and keep it in check, it will run rampant. And so that's, you see, why did she get in real estate?
A passion.
She got about eminent domain, about government getting out of control, and she had to get involved and be a part of keeping in check.
We were laughing over here because Kate's over here flashing gang signs.
I know.
Those aren't gang signs. Those are happy signs.
Oh, those are happy signs.
Yeah.
Excuse me.
I was worried she was about to cut me.
Oh, wow.
Okay, rock and roll signs. Sorry.
The rock and roll
Those
signs,
are rock
right?
and roll signs. Yeah.
I don't know. She's looking pretty tough
Those
over
are
here.
rock and roll signs. Yeah.
So we got about a minute here. So
that is correct.
So what other kind of big issues are we facing?
Sure. Well, I think that's probably the most important one that we're looking at as an association to push this November, besides actually going out to vote. And I think you bring up a good point. Having money and having investors like you, Rob, and Nancy, major investors, is very important to the PAC, our Political Action Committee. But more importantly, it's getting out the vote. So we can have the influence, but we also need the vote behind that. And I guess when we come back, we can talk about the Voice for Texas.
Yeah, we have the Voice of Texas.
That
which
is correct.
Consumer-facing PAC will come up. So
as usual, time flies when you're having fun, and when you're talking
I was
politics.
having fun.
I'm always having fun, trust me. I love this conversation. If you want to hear from us or talk to anybody in the studio today, you can do so at 800-808-5548. Feel free to call in, but we're going to take a break right now. We'll be right back.
Immovable object like me, you can bet as sure as you live. Something's gotta give, something's gotta give, something's gotta give.